This is category 3 of your state board exam, the haircutting portion. As you can see, I've already sectioned my mannequin into 4 quadrants. You must have 4 to 5 quadrants and perform this haircut in 30 minutes. The supplies that you're going to need are combs. I always have students take more than 1 comb so that in case they drop one or need it. Your water bottle full of water, and you've got to take your tools out of your case. So you're going to need your shears, your thinning shears, and your razor. At that point, State Board will have you move your case to another counter and put it away. So you're required to have a uniform 90-degree layered haircut for State Board, and it must be between 6 and 7 inches. So at the moment, you can see that I have taken and sectioned out the nape portion, which is about 1/2 inch to 1 inch, no more than 1 inch of this, and I went ahead and sectioned out 1 inch of the mohawk, which we'll get to in just a minute. When you are determining length for your haircut, you're going to want to start at the center back section, and you're going to make sure to place your comb at the very bottom of the hairline. You don't want to come up here at the top of the section because you're going to have gained 1/2 inch of length. Today we're going to cut at 7 inches, holding it down at 0 degrees. I'm going to establish my guideline with my comb and shears. Now that I've cut this to 7 inches, I'm going to use that piece as my guideline to finish the nape section, holding it at 0 degree or 0 elevation, stepping and walking with each cut, coming back to the center and moving over to the right side. At that point, I recommend checking your haircut, making sure that you're even on both sides. Okay, at that point, after this, you want to take and section out your mohawk and establish your apex guideline. The apex is at the top of the head, highest point of the head. We're going to hold at 90-degree elevation. Measure to 7 inches and cut. Okay, so here's my guideline established for the mohawk section right here. I'm going to take the centerpiece and I'm going to walk forward, cutting this, holding everything at 90 degrees. At that point, I'm going to turn my mannequin around and take this exact same guideline and walk it all the way back so that I have a 90-degree nape section and I have a 90-degree elevated 7-inch mohawk section in the center. When we're cutting our 90-degree haircut, you have to have really good tension and hold everything using your guideline. Cut to your control center. Pick up your next section. Do you see that I'm not taking and directing this back? I'm actually keeping it right here where it grows, 90 degrees from where it grows, using my guideline. Cut to my control center and move forward. Keeping your shears pointed toward the exterior portion of the haircut. So you can see right here, everything is at 90 degrees. Okay. I'm going to turn the mannequin around. Normally I would walk to the other side, but I need my shears to be pointing out, so I'm just going to turn the mannequin around or spin the chair around, find my guideline right here, hold at 90 degrees, cut to my control center, pick up the next portion of hair. In the crown section is where you need to be careful, because right here everyone tends to either over direct forward or over direct backwards, and this is where you can lose length or gain length. So make sure that as you're cutting in this crown section that you hold it 90 degrees from where it grows and you keep your elevation consistent. When we get to the occipital bone, we switch our hand direction and go palm to palm at this point, so that way you're not arching and in a position that's not good for your body. Okay, so I'm going to switch the mannequin around. Re-wet. Always find your guideline before you cut. Take a section of hair. You can see that when I'm cutting, my palms are facing one another, still held out at the 90-degree elevation. I only cut to my control center. And then I'm going to pick up another section of hair. And right here you can see that we now have our top guideline and we've picked up our bottom guideline from the nape section, so we know that we have created a true uniform 90-degree haircut. We've just established our nape guideline, and now we've established our center mohawk guideline. At that portion you're going to come to the left side of the head and you're going to work from quadrant A, taking your top portion of your mohawk section and working in vertical sections to create a uniform layer all the way down. Quadrants, the back two quadrants, we're going to start off with the center mohawk, and then we're going to switch to palm as we move down. Only remove one quadrant of hair at a time to keep your haircut clean and organized. So if you start right here in the center, you're going to only have a very small portion of hair. Bring everything back up to your guideline or elevate exactly from where it grows. We've got a little small piece here. I'm going to take a very small sliver of what I've just cut so that I have a guideline from top to bottom. I'm going to bring this section back up, elevate to 90, find my guideline, walk my haircut down, cut to my control center, consistently moving with each haircut, with each piece that needs to be cut, consistently moving to where we're exactly 90 degrees from where it grows. We're not going to keep elevating this haircut or this section of hair all the way to the top and then cut this. We're going to move it and walk it down. Notice that the sections are very clean and straight. That will help keep you on track of where your location is of your haircut. So we've cut quadrant A. Now we're going to go through and check the perimeter of it, make sure that everything lays as it should. Okay, so at this point right here, you can see that if I pick my comb up and measure anywhere from the haircut, it's all going to be 7 inches from anywhere on the head, as long as you hold it 90 degrees out from where it grows. So we'll move on to quadrant B. And this is the first quadrant that we're going to use our palm to palm. So there'll be some switching back and forth of your body position. So you're going to start with your shears at the top and working towards the exterior, and when you get to about the occipital bone, you're going to take and shift your body to the opposite direction so that your your shears are always facing out. Take a portion of what I've just completed. Remember that you always have a guideline right up here at the very top in the mohawk section. You see my guideline? Okay, at this point right here, it gets to where it's too far to move over. So I'm going to switch and step over right here. Switch my hand upside down to create the palm-to-palm effect. Find my guideline again. Point my shears down. And complete the rest of this portion in a palm-to-palm. Okay, as we move to the third quadrant, we're going to have the exact same type of motion where we start from the top and we switch back to the occipital bone, do palm to palm, always making sure that our shears are facing out. I'm going to wet this section down. You always want to make sure that the moisture and the hair is consistent throughout the haircut. When you're cutting palm to palm, make sure that you bring it directly out from where it grows and that you don't direct it to you or away from you. That will throw off the consistency of the length of hair and could make you long or short for the remainder of the haircut. Okay, the last quadrant that we have, you'll notice that on the left side that I started with my shears pointed down and facing the opposite direction, and as we finish on this side, I'm actually made a full complete circle around the haircut and positioned my body to where I'm still going to keep my shears pointed to the exterior portion of this haircut. Again, make sure to wet down your quadrant. Keep consistent. Once you complete this quadrant, always make sure to go back just like we did on the other one. Check your length, make sure there's no long scragglers. And that it blends blends all the way to the front bang portion. The last thing that on a state board 90-degree haircut that you're going to need to do is take your thinning shears and your razor and demonstrate a vertical cut and a horizontal cut with a razor. Never go above the occipital bone, always keep it between the occipital bone and the nape. You're going to take just a small sliver of hair in the center portion. With your thinning shears, you're always going to demonstrate. You never want to come straight in and cut. You always want to cut at an angle. You can't cut too close to the scalp because you'll end up having all these short pieces that stick out. So you want to kind of come right here in the mid-shaft section, and you're going to come in and you're going to cut, open, and remove, and you're going to take your comb and comb any of that excess hair out. Okay? With your razor, you want to demonstrate a portion of hair. Okay, when you're using your razor at state board, make sure that the guard is facing the correct direction for being right or left-handed. Take your section that's no wider than your control center. Hold with great tension. Make sure your hair is really wet. You're going to hold tension, place your razor, and one swift, smooth cut down. This completes the state board 90-degree elevated haircut. State board will have you check it and score you accordingly.